I want to say hi to everybody.
All right. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. First, everybody that's here, thank you for coming. Those of you joining us online over here, thank you. What do we got here? Share it now.
Yeah, hold it up right there. But you have to do screen share on this. Over here, screen share. And then minimize this. And present that.
All right, so I just learned how to share my screen. So first, our normal chapter business. We need to approve the minutes from our January meeting. It has to be people that were in attendance of the January meeting. Do I have any volunteers to approve them?
Motion to approve.
All right.
Motion to approve by Lynn. Somebody's got a second.
I think that's
I'll
good.
second.
All right. Mary Ann seconds.
Mary Ann, seconds.
Looks like there's no new members. We got our regulars here tonight.
There is one new member.
Online.
She's not online, but she just joined us. She's very enthusiastic, and hopefully she will show up online. And
Awesome.
it's Deepa.
Deepa
So-
McCabe.
Deepa
Wow.
McCabe.
Oh,
Deepa, if you come in, welcome.
And
absolutely.
Sal is joining us. Has he been with us before?
Sal has been with us before.
Hello,
Yes.
Sal. And Linda, hi.
Hello.
We do have to make sure that we are signing up for our free CSTA membership or updating our membership if you've not done that already. Remember, that is free. That's the one positive thing here. The link is there on how or where you can access the website and how you go about signing up. Keeping current, we have all our different websites, our Facebook, Google Community, Twitter. So these are kind of the places where everything's being shared. Remember, we have our CSTASNJ website that's then going to branch off to the actual individual chapters, but I think it's important we keep an eye out for what the other chapters are doing as well. There's lots of great stuff going on in the state. I guess to get started, we got a couple shout outs here. The first one is Matthew Signorelli of Toms River High School. I believe that's Toms River North. Got a perfect score on the AP Computer Science A exam, which is really awesome. He was one of 112 people that got a perfect score on the exam out of all the students that took it. We'll note here, he was actually a team member of the winning team of last year's programming competition here at Stockton. So I thought that was pretty awesome that we had somebody in New Jersey that scored a perfect score, and they definitely participate in some of our events. His mother and his teacher are actually both CSTASNJ members as well. His mom is Suzanne Signorelli, and his teacher at Toms River North High School is Mrs. Corrado. So they want to congratulate all of them for that great stuff. It's really an impressive accomplishment. Another shout out, we have Kimberly Matina's February newsletter. She's doing a really neat thing where she's producing these newsletters that's really showcasing the stuff her classes are doing. And I will try to give a review. So this is definitely something you're going to want to check out. Keep you updated on some of the things she's doing in her classroom, some of the cutting edge stuff. I think keeping the public and students in your school, as well as the parents and the community, updated on some of the projects you're working on in such a way is kind of a great idea as we try to build this. Kind of all preaching to the choir when we meet just amongst ourselves and share that information. So the fact that we are seeing things out there that the general public can see, this is some really cool stuff. I know as a teacher myself, I've been looking at this and trying to grab some ideas that things that I might want to do in class. So great job with all of this stuff. I mean, I'm not going to read it all to you, but you can see the variety of things that are being used. I think that was definitely a neat little project. Kathy Clayton, who's our VP, was recently chosen to participate in the Pioneer program for creating her class's own Google expedition. So that's pretty neat. They're going to kind of set up, they're going to provide her with the materials necessary, and they're going to kind of build their own virtual reality experience. So that's definitely an impressive achievement by Kathy. She's not here today to talk about it. Unfortunately, she couldn't make the meeting, but nonetheless, I think she should be recognized for this, because this should definitely be a pretty neat experience as well. And I'm sure she'll be willing to share some of the results of the actual project at our next meeting. In fact, we're going to sign her up for that. We're going to pencil her in right now for that.
That's a good thing. I definitely want to hear about that.
Just some other shout outs. I actually just attended the FBLA Future Business Leaders of America State Leadership Conference with some of the advisors from Egg Harbor Township High School, and students from Egg Harbor Township High School placed second in the state in mobile application, second in computer game and simulation programming, and third place in coding and programming. So they were definitely a successful group of students, and their advisors, Eileen Duff and Kim DiMaggio, are also CSTASNJ members. So lots of good stuff happening from our members and their students. I think this is a great thing to see. We have our programming competition coming up this Friday, which I'm sure everybody's eager for. We have 212 participants the last time I checked. I believe that's finalized at this point. And if I remember correctly, it was about 15 different school districts. So we're definitely branching out, getting more students involved, more teachers involved. And I think the fact that there's such demand is awesome. So thank you to Stockton, Demetrius, and everybody else that's really kind of thrown this together and helped support the execution of the event, as it is our biggest event. We are the only CSTA chapter in New Jersey that does anything like this. That's a pretty big accomplishment for us due to everybody's hard work. In correlation with that, our chapter received a 1,000 Google chapter support grant to be used towards that coding competition. So the officers sat down and applied for the grant, and we did receive it. So that's pretty awesome. It's helping a little bit with the cost. So congratulations to obviously the entire chapter, as well as the officers for kind of helping put together that grant. I think that's nice recognition.
Adam did most of the work. Thank you, Adam.
No,
You can do
everybody,
your own shout out.
there's no own shout outs. As always, if we left anything off, make sure you shoot us emails about what you want us to include in the shout outs, whether it's something you're doing in your classroom, something your students did, any cool projects, whatever you want to throw out there. I think it's important that we kind of showcase all the awesome stuff we are doing. So congrats to everybody on that, and just really keep up the good work. The 2018 CSTA conference is this July 7th to the 10th in Omaha, Nebraska. This slide's going to look familiar. The big thing now is registration is open. So you can go ahead and register. If you register before March 31st, you save $50. Having attended the conference before, you get some keynote speakers, you get individual workshops. I know when I went, I want to say about 5 or 6 years ago, there was workshops on App Inventor. And that was kind of really before it really taken off. And now it's kind of pretty common to see teachers using in computer science classes, but they held a workshop for App Inventor. I attended a cybersecurity workshop. So they do like 2-hour workshops during the day, hands-on stuff. And you kind of just pick whatever interests you. I know we had chapter members go last summer to Baltimore. And as far as I know, everybody had a enjoyable experience, took a lot from it, got a lot out of it. Great networking opportunity. They are always impressed with the amount of people from New Jersey in attendance. Right? Lots of compliments for the entire state as far as our CSTA chapters. So we kind of want to build on that momentum. You want to add anything?
Go to the next slide.
All right, yes, if you have never attended the CSTA conference before, Oracle is offering scholarships. To be eligible, obviously, it's got to be your first time K-12 teacher attending the CSTA annual conference. It says you may be, but does not have to be a teacher at an Oracle Academy member institution. And you must apply for scholarship no later than May 1st. Right, you can win up to $1,000 per awardee, conference registration, 3 nights of lodging, travel expense support, and special recognition. So that's always good, kind of save some money. So there is some funding out there if you are chosen as one of the winners.
There were a lot of people there last year who were there on the Oracle. Some people were on the Rolls-Royce, some people were on the Google. So hopefully Google does another leadership summit. For first-time attendees of the Leadership Summit. I don't know what parameters of the Rolls-Royce were, but I'll keep my eyes peeled.
Yeah, absolutely. As we find it, we'll throw it out there to you. But it's definitely something that would help drive down the cost a little bit, since Omaha is not really in driving distance for us like Baltimore was. It'd be quite the long drive.
I believe Kim and I both applied for this last year and we didn't get it, but I applied again this year. So we'll see.
All right. And just a reminder, it's on that slide, but that deadline is May 1st. Some more CSPD and resources, as well as events. We have our job board, our pathways, CSTA site is listed there. One thing that's added that I don't know if it's been in previous slides is cs4nj.org. This is quickly becoming the home of everything computer science in the state of New Jersey. So they are linking our CSTA chapter websites are linked from there. They're putting professional development up on that website. So it's kind of being the catch-all website. And that is constantly updated with all the different workshops, all the different building CS capacity program being run at TCNJ is connected to that. So it's kind of one-stop shopping. So it's kind of nice that we're kind of created this home base, if you will, to disseminate or link to all these other websites. So I think that'd be an important website to earmark so that you can get to it pretty easily and keep updated on what's going on. As far as professional development, we still have TCNJ, Center for Excellence in STEM Education, working on their building computer science education capacity, where there are all kinds of workshops, whether it's robotics, whether it's preparing students for the AP Computer Science A exam, mobile apps, just about anything and everything you can imagine. They do it for high school teachers, middle school teachers, all kinds of different neat activities and things that you can infuse into your class. Most of the workshops are held at the College of New Jersey on Saturdays. However, they are starting to branch out, so you'll see some different locations depending on facility availability as well as instructors and where they are coming from. All of these workshops are free for the participants. So that's also kind of nice because they got a very, very big grant to help with this. And basically the goal is just get people interested in computer science and prepare teachers to teach computer science. Rowan University is also kind of doing a similar approach. The last time I looked, the only difference is there's a small fee for the Rowan courses, but that website's there as well. So lots of opportunities to hear from your peers and others that are in the same position as you and get to see what they are doing. We have the Computer Science Summit at Rutgers University. I believe last time conversation I was part of, the tentative date for that, and it's just about finalized, is Friday, May 18th. And that is going to be a collection of faculty from 2- and 4-year universities, to high school teachers, supervisors, superintendents. They're trying to get people, or we're trying to get people from the DOE to come on board, maybe some legislation, people from the legislative side of things. So it's kind of going to be a collective gathering of all of these stakeholders in computer science education in the state of New Jersey. A save the date will be going out shortly with some more additional information. So just keep an eye out for that. As soon as we get more information, I'm sure you will get it forwarded on to you from every direction possible. So if you're part of our Google group or website, like, you will see all of that. But I did want to just mention that that is in the works and should be finalized relatively shortly. And I think with some of the legislation that's out there and a new governor and some different things that are happening as far as computer science education, this would be a great summit to attend to see the big picture, see what's going on outside of our classroom walls. Any questions on that one? Okay. They may be looking for possible presentations for that. So that might be something we want to discuss. Last I heard is they are very impressed with this concept of hosting a programming competition. So that might be something where if anybody was interested in talking about how to execute that, I'm looking at any one individual, but if we could talk about possibly taking part, because they were saying how awesome it is that we actually pull that off.
Do they record these workshops, the code.org ones?
Can you?
No, do they record it?
Are they recorded? They are not recorded. I mean, I can look into why they're not.
Are which recorded?
The code.org ones.
This one.
No, but their website is fairly robust and has a lot of tutorials on it. If you did want to, sit down in a session. So just go there. There's tons of stuff on there.
So yeah, a couple things with code.org. Code.org is now a regional partner with the College of New Jersey. Their model is to get in a relationship with the university in a region and become a regional partner. And then that university runs those workshops and disseminates that information to the people in the area. So their partner in New Jersey right now is the College of New Jersey. So with this workshop, it's obviously in the summer. It is a, 5-day workshop, Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4 p.m. at the College of New Jersey. There is no cost, right? So you just attend and you kind of get a little background and primer on the computer science principles curriculum if you're a high school teacher, or the computer science discoveries curriculum if you're a middle school teacher. In addition to those summer dates, there are also 4 quarterly workshops on Saturdays. So throughout the school year where you go into the different units. So the way it was set up last year was you really delved into Unit 1 and Unit 2 of the curriculum in the summer. And then the remaining workshops, you did 1 unit each time and also talked about the AP exam and how to prepare your students for it. Disclaimer, I am one of the facilitators for that workshop.
Yeah, I teach CS principles. When I look at the different forums and the web communities, generally, CS principles, it's supposed to cover the breadth of computer science, to give a feel of computer science, not get into the depth, which computer science A does go into depth. But I've seen that some people are getting into depth when it comes to principles. I mean, mostly it should be block programming, but they get into a lot of in-depth coding, in say Python or JavaScript.
Yeah.
So if we attend this workshop, we will really understand.
This workshop is solely on how to use code.org's curriculum, which focuses on the block programming.
Right.
So the way their curriculum is set up is that it is for a beginner. So that if that's your student, then this workshop is just about their curriculum. It doesn't bring in like, oh, I want to include Python. How would I do that? Because that's not part of their curriculum. So this is definitely focused to what's in their curriculum. Where do I find the resources? What are the lessons I have to watch out for? What are the difficult lessons? And what happened this last year is there's definitely a community built. The teachers that were attending created their own Google Classroom and sharing resources. So it's really just focused on how do you use this curriculum, and then it kind of goes from there. But the workshops themselves are just the block programming as it relates to Code.org's curriculum. And in kind of a follow-up to that, for a more technical workshop, there is a Computer Science A AP Summer Institute at Rutgers University, August 6th and 9th. This would be the Computer Science A exam, which is the Java intensive programming language. So we kind of got two neat opportunities here in the state of New Jersey to work with the two different curriculums that are out there and the two different AP exams that are out there. You have the principles one, which would tie to the Code.org workshops, and you have the Computer Science A/Java one, which would tie to the Summer Institute at Rutgers. One thing I do want to mention, I get a lot of information about the high school level workshops. So if anybody gets information about middle school, make sure we share them.
There's actually a workshop I'm going on March 24th at Rutgers, and it's they're giving a Finch robot. It's on Finch, that level of robot, and they're going to give you a Finch and they're going to give you $100, and you have breakfast and lunch.
There you go.
And it's free.
So Finch Robot Workshop.
Rutgers, yeah.
Nice.
And they're giving you the Finch for free?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Kathy
So that
Clayton
woman that
just
ran
came
the,
on, so if you want to repeat that.
What was her name? The one that runs, one that I did in the summer. You did the summer as well. Fran Trees. Yes. Yeah, she's running it. Did you say repeat it again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, just say it one more time.
Sure. There's a workshop at Rutgers on March 24th, and I believe they're still opening because I just got something again this week. And you'll get a free Finch robot to take with you, $100, and they have a light breakfast and lunch.
They give you $100 or you pay $100?
No, they give you $100.
Okay.
Yeah. They paid me over the summer. I think they paid me $100 as well to attend. That was a 2-day seminar. Let's see if I can find it. It's, but if you, I'm not finding it.
If you email it to me, I'll just add a rate to the slide.
Sure.
No, that's awesome.
Can I just forward you the email? Is that
Yep, that'd be perfect. Thank you.
Any other professional development anybody's aware of that we might have missed?
Did you do our slides yet?
This one?
Okay,
No,
this
I haven't
is-
gotten to the
This is
ETTC
another
yet.
one. This is what was emailed to you in the last couple of days and amongst all of the competition emails. So the explanation for the slide is on the next slide, the little letter that he sent.
All right, I think you got it. So the AP Computer Science Principles course has multiple curriculums out there. We just talked about the Code.org curriculum. That is just one of the prescribed curriculums that already exist that you can just take and run with. Another one is the mobile CSP curriculum, which is also endorsed by the College Board, and you can just take it as is and run with it. And this focuses on using App Inventor as your programming environment. So Code.org has their own stuff on their website. Mobile CSP, App Inventor is what they use. So we have a couple things here for informational sessions. These are obviously coming up quickly. But Tuesday, March 27th, there's an online meeting. Wednesday, the 28th, there's a meeting at Keene University. And then Thursday, another online meeting. We have some contact information here from Darcy Santella of Raritan High School. So if you are interested in this, that link will be available in the slides. Let's see what else she has here in her information.
That's just the email.
That's kind of what it was, right? And I think they are hosting their summer program at Keene University. right? And I know there's also an online component to that as well. So you have that information if you want to take a look at that. I am not as familiar with the mobile CSP, but it, like I said, just like the other curriculums, it's there, it's easy to use. It's an advantage to kind of have these resources available to you.
I have a question. Needed your advice. Is it a good idea to mix and match different principal courses, like take part of, say, this one and some from Quota or Oregon?
I would think as long as you are comfortable with all the different materials, and the only other thing to be conscious of, and this is getting a little more technical on the actual class, but the AP test itself has some requirements. So there's a research requirement and a programming requirement.
Explore and create.
And you have to give your students 8 hours of class time for the explore and 12 hours for the create. So if you start taking pieces of all of them, you're gonna have to be conscious of how that's working with your time schedule. Whereas all those curriculums are already built in sequence so that you have those 20 hours already considered. But I think grabbing the resources could work. Like I said, you just have to be conscious of, well, now I'm not following any set calendar here. So where am I putting those hours in? But I mean, it's definitely a doable thing. All right, some opportunities for teachers to kind of further their education. We have our Master of Arts in Instructional Technology here at Stockton. Online, always a good thing. That information's there. A lot of our members have completed this, as we know, just from previous meetings. So definitely something to take a look at, get caught up on all the cutting edge stuff in instructional technology, get ahead of your students perhaps on some of this as they start to look at us like we're falling behind on the times. It's going to give us an idea to get that leg up. The SRI ETTC calendar still has their coding teacher certification series with a ton of different activities. Heard nothing but positive things from people that have attended this. We have Scratch here, some Raspberry Pi, Python, Arduino, App Inventor. So different levels of technicality, I guess. So depending on where you're coming from, one might be of more value than the other, depending on the grade level you teach. And I could be wrong, but my understanding is everybody that it's taught as if you came in and you don't know how to use these things, correct? So
That's correct.
some of the concepts may be a little more complicated to pick up, but you're not going to show up and be like, all right, well, here's your Raspberry Pi, and we expect you to do this, this, and this with it. They're actually going to walk you through and prepare you to do it. And same thing with all the different workshops that they are offering. And you get a certificate if you do all of them?
That is correct.
Michelle, I see this on Facebook,
Yes,
the links to this,
yes.
but the problem I face is, say you put, say, MIT App Inventor, I click on that, it takes me to the SRI, ETCC.
Yeah.
It doesn't take me to the specific course, it brings me to the,
It
where
brings
again I need
you
to
to the
search.
whole calendar.
Yeah, so it kind of
When
becomes.
I do it just to the specific workshop, it already puts the workshop in the cart, which is confusing for other people. So that's why we just brought it back
Okay,
to all things. But it's all listed in all,
okay.
just scroll down and it's right there. It was just too confusing because it put it in the cart way over here and you're
Yeah.
not seeing it in front of you. I agree, it's a little problematic. I've discussed it with them, we're working.
Are you getting a lot of people to attend these?
We're getting decent attendance and all the attendance has been quite positive. So, Gary's a very patient guy. I think one of them, Phil's teaching the MIT App Inventor one. So they've just been a lot of fun and very non-confrontational.
That's good.
Which is exactly what the teachers are. They need, that kind of environment to just feel like, wow, I can do this, so.
And what grade level teacher do you feel like
Well,
you get in
we're
most of
getting,
these?
we're getting, I'm saying like mostly middle school and high school. I'm trying to think, On the ones that I was there for the day, I don't know that I had any elementary, but you could, you know. I wasn't the one running them, so I didn't look at the sheet.
It's just interesting to hear the different levels that are kind of delving into this stuff.
Well, if you go back one slide, the debugging scratch, like that's definitely elementary. You could do that with elementary and middle school. So, you know, I would say come.
Awesome. Some CSTA notes. We still have our Google group, which if you are not a member of the Google group yet, then you should reach out to one of the officers, myself, Michelle, and we need to get you added to that Google group. That's where pretty much all announcements are generating from now, so that everybody gets those announcements. So if South Jersey makes an announcement, the rest of the state hears it and vice versa, because we want to be on the same page. And we also want to have some interaction and cross collaboration. So like if Central Jersey's doing something or has a meeting that interests you, we want it to feel like, hey, we're all kind of in this together. We're not necessarily divided just by our locations. The only reason we have the North, the Central, and the South is obviously just to make life a little bit easier on people so that we're not all traveling across the entire state. So we do want to make sure we're part of the Google group. Got the website there. All right, we have our little hashtag. So pretty much that's the collaboration component of this CSTA. We've done some pretty awesome stuff as an organization. We've kind of really led the push in CS education in the state, and talking to other CSTA members from the different parts of New Jersey who have helped play a role in pushing legislation or getting outside groups to come to the state of New Jersey. A lot of that work has actually been done through the CSTA chapters, where a lot of other states that didn't happen that way. It was like a governor came in and their niece liked computer science, so then a governor pushed computer science. There was always something like that that sparked computer science education, where a lot of the stuff in New Jersey has been done and pushed by actual CSTA members and teachers, which is a pretty big testament to all the awesome stuff all of us are doing. That kind of transitions right into legislation. Bill A2873, requiring CS in all high schools, was signed into law by Governor Christie before leaving office. That made New Jersey just the 5th state in the nation with this requirement. You got your other states there. The next step in that process is coming out with like the regulations of how this is now going to be implemented. And that's in the development stages. So it's going to be required. All high schools will have to offer it. And now it's going to kind of be, all right, well, when's the exact deadline going to be? That's a go. We have enough teachers. We can now kind of have the regulations in place. And that's something I believe the Department of Education is working on. The other bill, the A3870 CS teaching endorsement, was vetoed, so that did not pass. However, a new version of it recently passed the Assembly Education Committee in early February. So cross our fingers, maybe that'll kind of just be fast-tracked through. So that did pass in the Assembly Education Committee, and I believe there was going to be another vote this week by the Senate Education Committee. I forget the exact group. So still some time in that process, but you know, we got one bill passed, so that's a step in the right direction. We're not finished, we gotta just keep on going, but definitely good to see some progress. Once again, this is a result of, or large result of this is from the CSTA chapters. So thank you for everyone and their support, whether it was reaching out and sending emails, whatever it might have been, definitely was helpful.
Hey, Adam, is there any indication as to why it was vetoed?
Not really. I'm not positive why. I know at first there were some issues with the endorsement, how many credits should it be, but that seemed to all have gotten resolved. I don't know if it just kind of didn't get through. But it's back in there, newer version, so we'll see what happens. I do, and I don't know if this was added to the slides. I didn't add it, probably should have. But Governor Murphy did just recently talk in a press conference about having $2 million of his budget go to computer science education. So that'd be interesting to see where exactly that money is going to go. Professional development. I think we're starting to see if we're going to have, this is kind of where they go hand in hand. If we're going to say that you are required to offer computer science in high schools, we need to have certified people to teach computer science in high school. And that was kind of the thinking when these two were developed. But we'll see. Like I said, we'll get back at it, try to get through it. We're not really getting information on why per se. But I do think that announcement about the $2 million is also important to announce, although it's not legislation. It's good to see that money is being invested into computer science education at the state level. All right, so this brings us to our CS competition, which is Friday, March 16th at 9 a.m. here at Stockton. It's been a hectic couple weeks, couple months, but it is coming together and we will be ready to go on the 16th. Like I said, we saw numbers earlier, 212 participants. I don't know the exact numbers. Anybody remember the first number, the first one?
67?
It's like 60 some on the first competition. So to be up to 212 is fantastic.
Yeah, we're at like 218 or 220, somewhere in there.
And the really impressive part of that is the numbers have grown as well as the school districts, which I think is important. It hasn't just been, all right, one school came with one class and then the next year brought 5 classes. So now instead of bringing 25, they brought 100 kids. We're actually capping the amount of students from the schools to be more inclusive of more schools, and there's still interest. So it's a really good sign for computer science education. It's a really good sign for the execution of the competition and the word of mouth that other attendees must be giving, as well as the actual facilities and how Stockton assists in this process. So I think it really is a testament to a bunch of different groups that this continues to grow.
Yeah, if you go to the next slide, those are the participating schools.
All right, so we have quite a few participating schools and schools from all over. Right? We're not just saying like Cape Atlantic League schools or Cape May County schools. We are covering a large chunk of the state here.
We had other schools that wanted to get in, but by the time, we'd already had estimated that we were getting closer to like 232, but then some kids had to drop out. So like,
I do want to say that we do have like a broad range, but it's been a really great collaboration of all of the different departments of Stockton, Event Services, IT, our CSTA chapter. We have funding from various different offices, but I think we still could use some items in the way of some door prizes or just some kind of assistance still. Thanks. As I was saying, it's a great collaboration from Stockton University. Several of the offices have provided financial funding, money for food, support, infrastructure support, boosting the event services, information technology, office of the provost, office of the president, all a bunch of different offices, business NAMs and so on have all been very supportive. And all of our CSDA people have pretty much jumped in and done a lot of help. Thank you, Marianne, for a lot of the gifts that you helped us get. But we still could use some more, at least some different kinds of door prizes. If anybody has anything that they can think of that they'd like to donate last minute, just let us know, send an email back and let us know, we'll come get it. Anything else we need for the competition? Are we okay on judges? Judges are looking good. Thank you for all those volunteers. Okay, just want to shout out to anybody in case they were thinking, come by and visit.
Thank you, Lynn. We are very lucky with the assistance that Stockton gives us in a lot of the stuff we do. I think when people talk about our chapter and the success we have, which I often get feedback from all the other chapters throughout the state, it's a lot. It's very nice to have a school that's working with you. We've kind of built a great relationship between our CSDA chapter and Stockton, and that relationship has been what's helped us succeed as a chapter. So I think it's definitely a good kind of relationship that's been built, and that should be recognized. So as far as the competition, I think volunteers, we passed that point. I mean, we probably have most of this taken care of. One new thing that is on here is the sponsoring of a participant. So if you wanted to help out in some way, shape, or form, and let's say you wanted to make a donation or try to come up with something as a door prize, one option would be to sponsor a participant. You can go right to the website and sponsor them through the website and make like a, you want to click on it?
Yep.
Being signaled.
No? The link didn't work? Okay.
I can probably copy.
I'll fix it. Yep. Oh yeah, click the link, sorry. The link. Okay, that's it.
Will that work? All right, so this is what the link would bring you to. Sponsor student programmer. You can read the best part of our programming competition, I feel, is the fact that there is no entry fee. Very tough to pull off to have 212 students plus their 15 chaperones. So you have about 235 people attending, being fed, winning prizes, participating.
Volunteers and judges.
Volunteers, judges, and there's no fee that we charge these participants. And obviously that's something we would love to keep, to not charge a fee. So the whole point is to be as inclusive as possible. And as such, funding obviously is a struggle sometime. So if you are interested in making a gift to quote unquote sponsor a programmer, here is the link to do so. And it kind of gives you the step-by-step process on how to do that. Anything you want to add to that?
No, please, just give.
Some more information here about computer science and information systems here at Stockton. We have information about Stockton's program. Obviously, students in our program competition have experienced the facilities and the different offerings here at Stockton. They get a little hands-on tour of the building, if you will, by simply coming and participating in the competition. We just want to get out some information about what is being offered here at Stockton as it pertains to computer science and information systems. Definitely a good opportunity for students that want to kind of stay in the area, or even students outside of the area that may not have thought of Stockton. Right, lots of great stuff going on here. So you can take a look at those web pages. You can see the different degrees they offer, the different pathways to those degrees, curriculum, and all the different offerings. All right, so that brings us to the PD component. So we kind of have a two-pronged approach to this tonight. We are going to use most of the remaining time to kind of just tie up loose ends with the programming competition, talk about what still needs to be done, maybe figure out who might be able to help in one area or another. And if you are not helping out with the competition, or you want to just bounce ideas off of what you're doing in your classroom and what PD do you want moving forward, this would also be a time to do that. So kind of a meet and greet, if you will, would be one option, or participating in the planning time for the programming competition. That's going to be our PD for tonight.
We will not be broadcasting that.
We will not be broadcasting that, I'm being told. Future meetings, we have May 9th and July 25th. July 25th is not our typical, second Wednesday of every odd number month. Which when I explain that to the other New Jersey chapters, they look at me like I'm crazy. But July 25th is...
Stop.
Tech Stock, which is hosted here at Stockton, and a lot of our members are presenters or helping out with the execution of that event. So we just tacked the meeting onto the lunchtime hour for that event so that we can make that work. That's why it kind of deviates from the second Wednesday of every odd number month. So if you're looking here like July 25th, that doesn't seem right. That is why it's a little different. As far as our next meeting, we are in the works. I talked to somebody today that we're trying to get to come in and do a little robotics presentation. He worked with EV3 Mindstorms and his other toy, which is kind of impressive. I am not going to divulge to you because maybe that's a little cliffhanger to get you to attend. But if you're into Star Wars, you might find it a little interesting. So there's my little tease on that. But that's what we're working on for our next presenter at the May meeting. If there is anything in particular that anybody wants from our meetings, as far as like a workshop or presenter, please throw out ideas and suggestions. I'm sure we can find somebody that's willing to kind of take the lead. If you yourself are interested in presenting something, by all means, let us know. We're always looking for good new ideas to engage people and get people involved. I think having those hands-on experiences definitely helps. Lets people leave with some like tangible things or ideas they can bring back to their classroom. Do we have any other news, comments, questions?
Is there anything for the group at large, Alicia?
No, not particularly. Been working hard on it. Doing good.
All right, so it looks like we have no questions, so we can wrap this up. We need to do a motion for that?
Nope.
All right.
We've reached the end of our agenda.
All right, so we are going to wrap up the meeting. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Okay. So, come back to the hand. See this?
Yeah.
Stop the broadcast.
Well, not talking about problems. That's-
Goodbye, Linda.